Can you imagine gazing into a mirror that forever reflects a superior, invincible version of yourself? Visualize standing in the midst of a crowded room where your thoughts, words, and actions are infallibly the most significant. Picture yourself as the sun, with all other beings as mere planets bound to orbit around you, feeding your insatiable hunger for admiration. How does it feel, immersing in such omnipotence and undisputed superiority? How would it feel to become a prisoner of your own grandiose self-image? To exist within the intricate realm of narcissism is to live this reality each day. Can you appreciate the complex allure of such a life where admiration from others is the air you breathe, the source of your existence? You've heard of narcissism, no doubt. Yet have you ever truly considered the profound depths of this psychological phenomenon? Have you delved into the labyrinth of the narcissist's mind to understand the driving forces behind their arrogance, their entitlement, their inability to empathize? Are you not curious about the intricate tapestry of experiences and emotions that instigates such an overpowering sense of self? Every conversation, every interaction, every achievement is merely a means to an end, to assert dominance, to garner admiration, to fortify the fortress of superiority. In times of failure, the narcissist's world crumbles, shattering their grandiose image as they grapple with overwhelming shame and vulnerability. Can you comprehend the paradox of living a life so grand, yet so fragile, that even the smallest slight could trigger a cataclysmic shift in their perceived reality? By now, you may feel a sense of bewilderment, even disbelief perhaps. The psychology behind narcissism feels complex, indeed puzzling, and yet it is real. Sigmund Freud, one of the greatest psychoanalysts the world has ever known, explored this enigma with profound curiosity and depth. In the succeeding sections, we will delve into Freud's intricate theories to understand how he perceived narcissism as a complex interplay between the conscious and the subconscious, between vulnerability and grandiosity, between the innate need for admiration and the corrosive fear of degradation. You may ask, why should we strive to understand these complexities? Why probe into a world that seems so foreign, so bewildering? To you, this may seem like an abstract theory or a psychological case study. Yet, understanding narcissism is not just about understanding the other. It's about recognizing elements within ourselves. By journeying into the narcissist's psyche, we may begin to comprehend the hidden depths of our own personality, our vulnerabilities, and our human propensity to err. Isn't it true that in every one of us there lurks a trace of narcissism? Are we not all, to a certain extent, prisoners of our own self-image, our own needs for validation and acceptance? Do we not all wear masks, hiding our vulnerabilities, seeking admiration, striving for significance? So, are we not all narcissists in varying shades and degrees? Can we ever be truly free from the clutches of our own self-image? Freud would tell you that beneath the seemingly impenetrable fortress of the narcissist's ego lies a vast, arid desert of self-worth. A barren land void of genuine self-love, watered only with the shallow rains of external validation. The narcissist searches for admiration as a way to shield themselves from the gnawing sense of inadequacy that relentlessly pursues them. But what does this relentless pursuit cost them? What is the price of their endless endeavor for validation? Imagine yourself trapped within a gilded cage of your own making, forever thirsting for admiration from others, but never truly feeling fulfilled. Picture the loneliness of being surrounded by mirages of false self-worth, your reflection bouncing off the golden bars, but never truly seeing yourself. The isolation of a narcissist is one of their own making, a self-imposed exile from genuine human connection. With Freud's guidance, you'd see that narcissists don't just crave admiration, they are psychologically dependent on it, a dependency that's as crippling as any physical addiction. Like a lost traveler in the desert, they hallucinate an oasis of greatness where there is none. And while they race towards this illusion, they leave behind trails of broken relationships, scorched by their need for constant validation. But perhaps the most disturbing revelation that Freud would lead you to is this. Beneath the narcissist's grandiose facade lies a despairing child, forever yearning for the unconditional love they feel they never received. Their pursuit for validation is their means of filling this void. As you traverse this terrain, you can feel Freud's influence radiating through your exploration. He dissected the human psyche into the raw, amoral id, the realistic ego, and the moralizing superego. And in studying narcissism, Freud saw it as a sexual perversion, where one is his own sexual object, a theory that may make you recoil for its stark departure from the ordinary. However, you're approaching a turning point, where new voices rise to refract Freud's theories through their own unique prism. To your right is the path paved by psychoanalyst Erich Fromm, who diverges from Freud to argue that narcissism is not merely a fixation, but a malignant form of self-love that hampers a person's ability to engage with society in a meaningful way. As you emerge from this theoretical journey, your understanding of the narcissist is redefined, reshaped. The narcissist is no longer just a manipulative tormentor, but a potential victim of their own flawed perception of self-love, of their own psychological warfare. It allows you to entertain a newfound empathy, a bittersweet understanding. You see the narcissist trapped within their own mind, the architect of their own ruin. Yet, this realization doesn't absolve them of their exploitation, but adds another layer to their complexity. It blossoms a difficult truth within you, that narcissists too suffer. Freud's symbolic storytelling has stirred in your soul. As the lecture on the psychology of a narcissist progresses, you find yourself more and more engrossed in Sigmund Freud's theories, his complex views delicately intertwined with every word the professor speaks. Your focus narrows on the single beam of understanding, a moment of clarity that draws you into the belly of the beast. Narcissism is not just an inflated sense of self-importance, not just a craving for admiration. No, it's much more devious, a treacherous labyrinth of emotional intricacies and layers of self-deception. And as the professor speaks, you find yourself walking down the twisted corridors of this labyrinth, a silent observer of the narcissist's world. Suddenly, you're standing in the heart of the maze, Freud's theory personified, the narcissist. A figure stands before you, a mirror in their hand. The reflection captures all their beauty, their grace, their perfection. But there's something else, a subtle disquiet in the mirror's depths. You move closer, your gaze drawn to the mirror's mesmerizing surface. You see a room, beautifully adorned with gold and silver, but devoid of warmth. The walls are covered in imposing mirrors, each reflecting the narcissist's radiant image. Yet, each reflection seems hollower than the last, an echo of substance that resonates with emptiness. You move closer still, your heart pounding with the intensity of your understanding. You see the narcissist's face, their eyes wide with awe and admiration for their reflected image. But as you look closer, you see a hollow emptiness subtly tainting those eyes. The mirrors, they are feeding the narcissist's myth, fueling their delusions, yet they fail to imbue their image with the depth and warmth of a real human connection. Suddenly, the image shatters. The mirrors crack, revealing not the sparkling world of the narcissist's illusions, but the bitter truth of their solitude. The room, once filled with the euphoric echoes of self-adulation, now rings with the desolate silence of isolation. As you pull back from the symbolism, you feel a profound sadness. You realize narcissism is not just a label, a term to dismiss someone's attitudes. It's a prison, a self-imposed exile from the warmth and joy of human connection. As the lecture winds down, you're left with an eerie understanding of the narcissist's world, an understanding that will forever change the way you perceive narcissism, giving you a newfound empathy and a desire to comprehend the unseen depths of their psyche. You find yourself delving into the depths of Sigmund Freud's theories, specifically focusing on his interpretation of narcissism. Narcissism, as you will soon discover, is not just a mere fascination with oneself. It's a complex psychological tapestry woven with threads of self-obsession, lack of empathy, and a hunger for admiration that can never be satiated. Freud's exploration of narcissism carries with it a poignant cultural critique. You imagine him peering through the looking glass of society, exposing the distorted self-image that lurks beneath its polished surface. As you immerse yourself in his theories, each sentence pierces through you like a sharp knife, revealing uncomfortable truths that our society often prefers to ignore. Freud paints a picture of a narcissist as a potent symbol of our culture's obsession with the self. In a world where one's worth is often measured by their wealth, power, and physical appeal, you start to see how our society, in essence, nurtures narcissism. You are encircled by a culture that encourages us to bask in the glory of our own reflections, that gifted us the selfie, a testament to our self-obsession. And it unsettles you, probing you to question everything you've known so far. This journey with Freud doesn't just enlighten you with knowledge, it evokes a whirlpool of emotions within you. You recall instances where you've seen narcissism at play, a friend who seemed incapable of empathy, a colleague whose need for praise bordered desperation, or even instances of self-centered behavior you've exhibited unknowingly. You start to question if narcissism is an intrinsic part of human nature or an imposition of societal norms. Freud's insight also sparks fear within you. Fear that our society has been nurturing a generation of narcissists. Fear that empathy and understanding may be lost to a sea of self-obsession. It is both disheartening and alarming that the very fabric of society appears to be woven from the threads of self-interest. Yet, there's an ember of hope that Freud's analysis ignites within you. It gives you the power of understanding and the chance to change. A realization that narcissism isn't a congenital trait, but a learned behavior, gives you hope for transformation. Freud's analysis, though written in a different era, echoes across time, its relevance undiminished. His cultural critique is not just an analysis of the individual, but of society as a whole. What starts as a personal journey to understand the mind of a narcissist becomes a broader critique of the society that molds us, revealing our individual and collective cultivation of narcissism. And with this revelation comes a newfound responsibility, for it's up to you and the society to choose empathy over narcissism, to foster a culture of understanding and compassion. This is the deep emotional journey that Sigmund Freud takes you on.